In Soviet Russia, there was a curious relationship between the population and the press because everyone knew that it was bullshit. Everyone knew that the press was state-owned and was just churning out the party line, not the truth. Everyone knew it, but no one could talk about it. You couldn't talk about it openly. Maybe you could mention it to someone that you knew and trusted and have a little chuckle about it, about the latest lies that they're broadcasting on Soviet TV or putting in the pages of Pravda or wherever. But you couldn't talk openly about it, certainly. But for obvious reasons, because it was a repressive, totalitarian culture, society, and you'd get that dreaded knock on the door at 2 a.m. And they would take you away for questioning. Well, I'm not going to say that we are in an exactly analogous situation today in the West, and specifically in the United States where I live. I'm not going to say it's exactly analogous, but it's more similar than many believe, or than many would admit to be true. Because I think the similarities the parallels are that just as in Soviet Russia, we know that the news is owned, bought, and sold, and is operated by controllers who have no interest in truth, who only have interest in churning out the party line. The party line happens to be one that's, state and corporate coalition. There's a coalition between large corporations and the powerful factions of state, whereas in Soviet Russia it was just the state. But that's a distinction without a difference, right? What does it matter if we're being ruled over by gigantic multi-conglomerates who have immunity from any claims of wrongdoing? How is that really different from being ruled over by an all-powerful state that you essentially have no rights when you come up against? It's a distinction without a difference. Now, the difference is that here you can talk about it. You can draw attention to it. But you can't. It's a little more complicated than that, because if you draw attention to it with any specificity, then there is a good chance that they will come after you, especially if you're someone who's in any way conspicuous, if you're someone who's in any way got a following or a name or anything like that. Then if you're specific about what you mean when you say that they are lying to us, then, like Ice-T said, was it Ice-T? Freedom of speech, just watch what you say. And yeah, you have freedom of speech, but they can also destroy your life. They can destroy your livelihood. They can make it so that your friends desert you. They can make it so that your family deserts you. They can build up this incredible campaign of terror and misinformation against you. I have a friend who is a smart guy, and we agree on a lot of things, but he is also a bit of what some of you might call a normie. I don't like to use words like normie myself, but when the shoe fits, I guess. He's a bit of a normie. And when I talk about the notion of being a dissident, he scoffs at that, because to him, you can only be a dissident if you are in, it makes more sense to talk about, who was it, Andrei Sakharov or Vaclav Havel or one of those guys, somebody in the Soviet Union or the Soviet satellite states, being an actual dissident. Whereas you talk about being a dissident in the West, he thinks is overblown and melodramatic. Well, I'm not recording this video to hate on him, but I do think it's something that is noteworthy. It is noteworthy that today, more than any other time that I can remember in my life, and I've lived for a while, more than any other time that I can remember, freedom of speech is a very, very, very tenuous thing right now. It's essentially only there in name. And it's only there if you are very general in your critique of things. There's an interesting YouTube channel called Academy of Ideas. I would recommend it. They've been around for years, and they've become more relevant lately, of course, but they've been around for a while. And they discuss philosophical issues regarding tyranny, totalitarianism, and liberty, but they don't discuss it with any. They never. The form that these videos take is it's scripted. I don't mean that scripted in a bad way, but it's somebody reading from something that's been pre-written, unlike me, winging it here, for better or for worse, which is what I tend to do. And it's, they discuss things that are obviously relevant, obviously super ultra relevant to what's going on today, but there's never any mention of any specific issue. So it's like, I'm just wondering, there's a certain cleverness to that approach, avoiding being specific, because if you speak almost codedly, it's not exactly code, because it's not. There's nothing esoteric about it. It's not like it's hidden there. It's clear what they're saying. They're just not. There's no specificity about about things that are going on today, about issues, about matters, pressing matters involving coercion and personal liberty that are becoming more and more relevant, seemingly day by day. You also find interesting allies. I don't know whether she's going to stay the course or not. I hope she does. Maybe maybe she'll be coerced into backtracking and into loving Big Brother. But the last couple of days, I would have never thought Nicki Minaj would be somebody who would come forward as an ally. And I think even if they succeed at beating her down, we know that she wanted to take a stand, and I think that should be commendable, even for as long as it lasts. And again, hopefully she'll stay the course, but we'll see. We know how coercive. I mean, I can't even imagine when you're somebody who has that type of who's a celebrity of any kind, you're very controlled, and there's got to be a ton of pressure on a person like that. So we shouldn't just I was talking about my friend scoffing at the term dissident. We shouldn't scoff at someone like Nicki Minaj taking a stand for however long she's able to take a stand. We shouldn't just think, oh, well, she's just this pampered celebrity and her music is trash and blah, blah. Whatever we think of her music, whatever, and I'm not a fan, but either. But it takes some balls, okay? And we should be cognizant of that, and we should be aware of that, and we should, we should be appreciative of that. Anyway, closing with a paraphrase of Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I can't remember how this exact quote went, but it was something like this. They are lying. We know they are lying. They know we know they are lying, yet they continue to lie. The exact wording is something very similar to what I just said. And that is exactly what is happening right now. They are lying, and everybody nobody buys into their lies. They just, if anything, they go along to get along, And I shouldn't, when I say nobody, obviously I'm being hyperbolic. There are people who actually believe the bullshit, but there are a lot more people who just, I don't know, don't want, they've got things at stake. They've got their careers at stake. They've got families at stake. They've got so many things at stake. They don't want to just, they see how dissidents, I would use that word, dissident. They see how dissidents are treated. We see, how they came down on Nicki Minaj the last couple of days. She was very much, as far as I know, very much on their team. At least, I never had the impression of her being anything different, of her being otherwise. She has lots of, there's evidence of, I don't know, there's some evidence of mind control with her and with lots of other celebrities and lots of other entertainers and performers and so forth. But in any case, the real travesty, the travesty upon the thing that makes it that makes the travesty so travestic, if that's a word. That's not a word. But the thing that makes the travesty so pronounced is the last clause of that Solzhenitsyn observation. They know they are lying, or we know they are lying, yet they continue to lie. That's the brazenness. That's the brazenness of it all. And look, I know people are going to want to respond. I don't want to hear anything black-pilled, okay? I don't want to hear how there's no hope. I don't want to hear any crap like that. So if you've got anything like that to say, take it somewhere else. I don't want to hear it. It's not what anyone needs to hear right now, okay? I think truth prevails. I think truth has a momentum all to itself. And yes, the people who are in power treat the truth with contempt, and that's part of this whole situation of them lying when we know that they're lying, but they still lie to us. So we're in we're occupying this weird kind of position in between actual freedom, actual ability to speak your mind, and the Soviet model or situation for the average citizen, where you just kept your head down. You read the headlines, you rolled your eyes, but you made sure nobody saw you rolling your eyes, and you just went on with your life, knowing the truth inside your heart, and knowing that you could share the truth with if you trusted friends, but maybe not even them, because you never really know. You never know when someone will turn on you and denounce you to save his own skin. That's what I'd like to close with. Also, is a thought or two about groveling. Again, I'm not going to be specific. I've been very non-specific about everything that I've said here. This is like the 10,000 foot view of the situation. So those who know those who have watched my more recent videos will guess what I'm referring to, or what puts this to mind when I talk in this way about groveling. But anyway, it just works as a general principle. Never grovel. Let me say that again. Never, ever, ever grovel. When you grovel, you don't help your own situation. People will get to you, and they'll get inside your mind, and they'll make you think that by groveling to them, groveling to the powers that be, you will somehow save your skin. When you grovel, you have sealed your fate, because when they know that they've got you, they know that you are mentally enslaved to them whenever you grovel. What's more, when you grovel, it amounts to a betrayal of your friends who stood by you through thick and thin, and it's a betrayal of the truth. So I understand there are situations where maybe you can't really speak in your defense. In that case, silence is better. Just be silent. Silence is better than groveling by a long shot. Think of Christ before Pilate. Pilate asked him questions. Christ just stood there. He didn't say yes or no when asked if he was the Son of God. He just stood there. He was silent. He didn't grovel. And yes, I'm talking about Christ, whether you're a Christian or not. That's not the issue right now. I'm talking about somebody who did not grovel, who was in trouble, who was given an opportunity to grovel, but who absolutely refused to grovel. Groveling does not help your situation. Groveling only makes your situation worse. So don't do it. If you have to be quiet, be quiet. If you have to just go dark, then go dark. But never, ever, ever grovel. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon.